The president touted the role of ICE as the law enforcement agency has been in the national spotlight surrounding recent violence in Minnesota and Oregon. The ICE debate is also heating up in Annapolis, and tonight we're following several pressure points with the General Assembly right now, which is back in session. We have team coverage as Rebecca Pryor and Mackenzie Frost look into questions about the state funding for an immigrant advocacy group and the partnership between ICE and local law enforcement. But we begin with Jeff Abel breaking down a Senate bill to ban ICE from wearing face coverings. Jeff?
Well, Kai, energy bills may be soaring and the state's deficit may be deepening, but the first bill filed in the Senate this session is not about money, it's about masks. When pictures began surfacing of immigration enforcement officers wearing masks, Maryland lawmakers began to act.
I mean, I know how I would feel if a masked officer ran up to my car without identification. It would be terrifying.
So one of the first measures proposed in the Maryland legislature this session is Senate Bill number 1, a bill which prohibits the use of a face covering by law enforcement officers in the course of duty.
That approach, that paramilitary approach, it destroys trust, and that cannot be how we approach law enforcement and public safety in the state of Maryland.
Just an unnecessary piece of legislation. We do not have a problem with Maryland police officers wearing masks.
The bill has Harford County Sheriff Jeffrey Gaylor shaking his head. He questions whether the state can govern what federal officers wear and insists the identities of Maryland officers has never been an issue.
You remember this same legislature passed a bill a few years ago that every police officer has to have their name and ID number on their uniform when they're out in the public. So there is no secret policing going on. It's just the continued narrative that all cops are bad that this legislature seems to love to focus on.
There are plenty of exceptions in the bill. It does not apply to officers wearing surgical masks, motorcycle helmets, or garments worn for religious purposes. Neither does it apply to officers who are actively involved in undercover operations.
There seems to be an excuse either way, and it's politics. You know, we all get down to the politics. You can make anything look any way. This has nothing to do with a problem that exists in Maryland law enforcement.
It's unclear who would be enforcing the measure, but the bill calls for up to 2 years in prison for officers who violate it.
Maryland should not be partnering with organizations that are destroying that trust between communities and law enforcement officials.
Well, that bill is slated for a hearing in Annapolis this Thursday. Jeff Abel, Fox 45 News.
I'm Kai Jackson. Thank you for watching. Here's another video to watch. Also, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel.